Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks for tuning in again. This is Agatha and today is, well, I've already filmed a video about this, but it's in my native language. But I wanted to make another one in English in hopes that it might reach more people. This is something that is very close to my heart. It's something very personal, and I have always wanted to share my story in hopes of, inspiring other people who are going through this, and to also help out people in, hopefully, if they have this disease, they could try and catch it early on, and the treatment would be really easier. So anyway, I'll give an introduction to what I will be covering in this video. I have lupus. To be specific, it's diagnosed as systemic lupus erythematosus, or SLE for short. Now, it's a type of lupus. It's a type of lupus. Yes. So I know a lot of people don't know what our disease is yet, what this illness is all about, and that's also one of what I want to achieve. What I want to achieve now and moving forward is to raise more awareness about this, because not a lot of people know about this. There's only a couple of people that are known to have this disease. Celebrity like the most popular one would be, I guess, Selena Gomez, Toni Braxton, and there's another female celebrity that another male celebrity that I cannot remember. But I've heard about their stories, I've listened to them talk about their disease, and living with the disease itself is very hard. People can empathize, but they will never understand the gravity of our situation, of how we really feel inside and out on a day-to-day basis. Now, what is lupus anyway? Lupus is a type of autoimmune disease, so it's our autoimmune system. Now, what happens is, I know this might be a long video, so I will try to keep it very simple and direct to the point. Now, lupus is an autoimmune disease. Let's put it this way to make it simple. What is autoimmune anyway? So, our autoimmune, everybody has autoimmune. Our autoimmune, its purpose is to defend ourselves. They are the warriors of our body, and they protect us from foreign bodies or foreign invaders, or like those types of, if we get viruses or if we get bacteria infection, our immune system is supposed to be the one trying to fight off those infection. They are our protectors. But in this case, the system, can we say, it's confused. So, the immune system powers up, and instead of attacking our foreign objects in our body, foreign invaders, it attacks its own self. It can attack its own cells, tissues, organs. So that's why at the first part of it, we have inflammation. And it can attack any part of the body. So lupus is not just a particular organ that is affected. Systemic, when you say systemic, it can be any part of the body, or it can be multiple parts of the body. Now, we also have lupus that's specific to an organ. We have lupus nephritis, which is lupus that is affecting the kidneys, and we have different stages for that. We also have discoid lupus. Now, this is lupus that is affecting our skin. So it's mostly in the skin. When you say systemic, it's various systems or organs of the body that is affected. So that's what I have, because aside from skin, I also have other symptoms that's happening from all over my body. Now, what is the treatment for lupus? To be honest with you, to be frank with you, there is no cure yet for lupus, and that's what we are advocating for. We are praying and hoping that one day we will have a cure for this. As I mentioned, there's not really too much. I'm not sure, but that's why Selena Gomez has been actively trying to He's donated a lot of money to Lupus Foundation to do research to find a cure for us. But we don't have that much support, and it's not widely known, and there's not enough budget to look for a cure, to study this disease and look for a cure for it. As of the moment, we don't have a cure for it. So if one has this, it's going to be a lifelong disease. It's a chronic illness. Once you're diagnosed with this, the only thing that we can do is to treat the symptoms. So we have treatment, we have medicines that can treat, but it's going to be the symptoms. So what we're trying to avoid is for the immune system to get into the overdrive. So we have drugs or medications that the main goal is to suppress our immune system. Now, when the immune system is suppressed, it's a double-edged sword. We take steroids, mainly steroids. There are other medications, but first and foremost, the first line of defense is steroids. That is based on my experience. So we have to prevent like inflammation. And yes, so steroids help suppress our immune system. It makes our immune system sleep. Now, the double-edged sword would be, because we don't have immune system, we are very prone to getting sick. We are very prone to acquiring different types of other diseases or infections. So in that sense, it makes us more vulnerable. That's why if you see, most of those with autoimmune diseases have masks. They try to avoid people as much as they can. And they are, they're really, really anxious with germs, viruses, because if you get sick, since your immune system is not acting its normal self, you may have more consequences. Like, for example, a normal person can get sick with colds, and they can get better in less than a week. Let's say 2 to 3 days. They can just, run off the course and they're fine again. But with lupus patients or those with autoimmune diseases and suppressed immune systems, I have experienced getting just cough and cold, normal ones. And I was in and out of the emergency room. And it took me a month to recover. So that's how serious it is. And I also know some people that would just get the normal flu or virus or just the normal sickness, but they end up in the ICU because their immune system cannot fight it. That's what put them into that position. So it's very hard. There's no cure for it yet, so there's just symptoms. For example, if you have pain, then we treat the pain. If you have inflammation, we try to reduce the inflammation with medicines. So it's just that until we find a cure, it's day-to-day basis. And I would say actually don't get to a point where one day you just wake up and you're feeling fine. I mean, since I was diagnosed, there was never a time in my life after I was diagnosed that I did not feel any sort of pain. Yeah, so it's really a chronic illness. Now, I want to share with you how I was diagnosed or how my symptoms started. I would remember, now lupus is very tricky on its own because the cause is unknown. It's a mystery. There are just a couple of possible causes. Like it can be, because we're not sure of that. There's no scientific evidence that supports that it really is. That's why it's hard to treat it because, for some sickness, it's a virus, what medicines you're going to give, what to target that virus, and, bacteria, what causes it, so to stop, how to stop it. But with lupus, the cause is really a mystery. So it can be a couple of factors. It can be genetic, hereditary, so it might have been passed on from mother, father, or sometimes a family would have 1 or 2 or 3 people with an autoimmune disease. Next would be, it can be caused by stress. It can be caused by infection. Yes, it can also be triggered. So you already have this in your body. Now, you will be able to diagnose it once it flares up, it triggers. So pregnancy can be a trigger to have this disease be activated. So I would say, I think that's what happened to me. That's as far back as I remember connecting the dots. 2015, I got pregnant with my third child. That's when I started having unusual symptoms. Symptoms that, because lupus is very hard to diagnose, first and foremost, because its symptoms can mimic usual diseases. So sometimes it can be dismissed, or it can be treated like a normal illness, and you get better, but you're not really treating the cause itself, the lupus itself. So it's going to come back, and the process just evolves. Now what happened to me was, that's when I started having palpitations, chest pains, dizziness, fatigue. So that's what I remember 2015. So I just attributed it to pregnancy. So I would say the pregnancy caused my flares. The pregnancy caused my lupus to be triggered or activated. I took, lab tests, chest pain, X-rays, 2D echo, and all those. But we found out that I had high cholesterol during that time. So I took medications for high cholesterol. I had regular sinus rhythm, so my ECG was, well, it wasn't fine during that time. I had what we call arterial sinus block or something like that, but the doctor said not to worry about it. And we had a 2D echo. That's where we found out that I have a mitral valve prolapse, but it's not, it's mild. The regurgitation was mild, so I just had to take medications for it whenever I have palpitations. But then it was constant. I was in and out of the hospital even after I gave birth. I still had that symptom. I just dealt with it because, they would tell you you're normal and all those stuff. So I just dealt with it. And then I think 2016, 2017, I would have joint pains, and my fingers and toes would feel sore, and at times they would feel like they're inflamed. Yes, and the palpitations just kept on going, and the fatigue was there. I thought it was just like, that because I'm aging and I just had a kid, I attributed it to that. But there came a time that I was super duper bothered by the joint pains and the muscle aches, that I went into a doctor, and that I consulted, and she asked me to do some inflammation tests, but I was well again, which is partly my fault, I would say. So I was well again, so I didn't come back. I didn't do the tests. So it took me a couple of months again, or at least a year. And then I remember 2017, this is when my symptoms started showing up one by one, and boom, 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 and it was like a combination hit. And then just one day I had everything in front of me, and they know it's lupus. So going back a little, I remember that we went overseas. We went to Hong Kong, and we were kind of out for a few days. I would say 5 days. I was out in the sun, and then that's when some of the symptoms started. I would remember, as far as I recall. The first symptom during that time that was very visible was my left cheek was starting to form. So it was it was swollen, and it grew bigger. It was so fast, not really that slow or fast, but it grew as time passed by. It grew and grew. It's like a golf ball. So anyway, initially I thought it was just like a tooth problem, because I've always had tooth problem. I don't know why, but my teeth were really, it chips out, it cracks, and I always have infection or anything like that. So I just thought, again, okay, I have to take out my tooth again. It might be infected. So I went into the dentist, and then we took out my wisdom tooth, and then I was prescribed antibiotics for the infection. And surprisingly, it did not go down. And then I went back again. We tried another antibiotics. It didn't go away. I consulted different other doctors just to see what it was. We did a lot of tests. We did MRIs, CT scans, X-rays, ultrasounds, but you know, they just dismissed it as cellulitis. And then we went through like 6 rounds of antibiotics. I had taken like 8 different antibiotics, but none of them helped. And then that's where my other symptoms showed up. So I had a golf ball here and it was red already. And then my muscle aches, joint pains, my body was crashing down on me. I had weight loss. My lymph nodes were all over the place. I could feel them. The fatigue was there. A very memorable experience for me was I could not even stand up. I could not walk. I could not move my body. And I could not even open the doorknob. I could not touch it. And even opening a water bottle is crushing my fingers. And then I had blisters on my fingers as well, on my toes. And they were swollen. And I had hair fall, and that's where the rashes came in. And I was itchy all over my body. And I was having tremors. There were pricks and needles in my toes and all of that, and I had super duper weight loss and the hair fall and everything that I can imagine. I had on and off fever. I was just totally out of this world. I mean, I thought I was gonna die. I was in and out of the ER. Yes, but it took a while for the doctors to be able to diagnose it because, again, like what I mentioned, it's a tricky disease. It really is. It's not going to show up on your labs. It can be normal on your labs. It's going to be hard to figure out unless the doctor really knows something about it, I would say. And then my white blood cell count was super duper low. Then, yes, that was some of the red flags as well. So initially, we were down to 2 diagnoses. Yes, so I had to find out if I am positive for HIV because I had super duper low white blood counts. If I remember, yes, because they said that might be a symptom of HIV. Yes, and then I had white marks all over my body. I still have them. I'm not sure if I can show you guys this. Here. So I have these white marks. There. It's super white if you see them in person. I have those white marks on my face and my chest, on my back, and thankfully it stopped growing. It stopped invading my other body parts. But yes, we tried out some different creams as well, but no. And then yeah. So anyway, we did a lot of tests. So I tested negative for HIV, which was a breather for me. I was really thankful. My doctor told me that if it's not HIV, it might be lupus, and if it's gonna be lupus, it's gonna be really hard. I did not know anything about lupus. Actually, that's the first time I've heard it from a doctor. I just knew about lupus. I've heard lupus once before. It was in a Filipino movie, but then I didn't think too much about it. Yeah. So anyway, that was it. So my doctor had me tested for lupus. I tested positive for the ANA test, but for others like anti-DNA, dsDNA, or anything like that, I tested negative, but I tested positive for ANA. As far as I remember, it was 1:80. Yeah, I couldn't remember. It wasn't super high, but all my symptoms added up. So for you to be able to be diagnosed with lupus, there's not just a single test that could determine if you have lupus. It's a combination of different symptoms for a doctor to be able to diagnose you. So we were almost there because I had the butterfly rash already. So we were like 90% sure that it might be lupus because with a positive ANA signs, the joint pains, the muscle pains. And, I had other symptoms as well with my vision. My vision was blurry. There were electricity that's running through my eyes, and a whole lot that I can't even remember right now, because you know, when you go through something that's traumatic, your brain tries to forget it. But thankfully, not really thankfully, but you know, when I try to look into how far I've come, I still have some pictures of that very bad journey, just to see how far I've come. Yeah, I still have those memories, and I will share them with you there. So, and then the diagnosing point was the skin biopsy. So we took a skin biopsy of the rashes that I have, and also because I have a golf ball size here, like a tumor. It wasn't hard. It was soft. It wasn't painful. It was just growing. There's a lump over there. So the skin biopsy came back, and it's lupus. So there, I was already diagnosed. And from there, I would say I'm really thankful, and I'm lucky, and I'm blessed, because I was really, really as well proactive in I knew there was something wrong with my body. I knew that years ago. But, you know, some people just said that you're just trying to think of it. You're just a negative thinker. That's nothing. That's usual. It happens to people. You're just going through some, you know, normal diseases or something. I've never, you know, I never remembered being sick when I was a child, never hospitalized or anything. The only time that I remember I was in a hospital when I got bitten by a dog. That's the only thing I remember. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thankful, because I was also proactive, and my doctors were also very supportive. But to tell you honestly, I've seen like 50 doctors on average. I've seen almost all types of doctors. I've seen dermatologists, IM, GPs, endocrinologists, cardiologists, pulmonologists, even a cancer surgeon. Yeah, and a whole lot more, you know, aside from, of course, rheumatologists, immunologists, allergologists, and all those specialists, really. And even, you know, I've also jumped from one rheumatologist to another, just to have, like, you know, a second opinion if it really is. But then again, it's the same thing. I even went to the head of rheumatology in the Philippines, and she said the same thing. So that's when I started backing up, and okay, so I've literally almost gone to almost all of the doctors in my area, even extended it out to farther areas, just to have the same diagnosis. So that's when I started to accept it. At least now that, you know, my mindset during that time was, now that you're at least now you're already diagnosed, and you get into the treatment stage. And then I was told that there is no cure for this. We can only treat your symptoms. And then the whole world crashing, you know, the whole world comes crashing down again on you, because there's no cure for this. I mean, I'm gonna stay like this forever. It's hard. It's painful. Because one day you're fine, the next day you're not. It's very unpredictable. And there are symptoms that people really cannot understand. People might think that we are okay because, you know, we look okay, we try to dress up, we try to function, but a lot of us are disabled. I am a person with disability in my country. I am, yes. Doesn't show. I mean, I would make a separate vlog about disabilities that are invisible, because I also want to take my part on raising awareness. And you know, this disease is very life-changing. It also gives you other diseases. It also contributes to anxiety, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, and a whole lot of other things. And autoimmune diseases, you can have more than one. The most common ones would be Raynaud's, arthritis. So yeah, and there's also lifelong effects to me physically, you know, aside from mentally and psychologically and medically, you know. So my golf ball here, when we started treatment, it shrunk, but it shrunk. It really shrunk. So my doctor told me that it's atrophy. It's what we call atrophy, and there again is no cure for it. So we cannot reverse it to its former state. So it's just surgery for me, reconstructive or plastic surgery. So I have to look into that because that's the only way that can fix my face. Although you can't really see it, probably you might be able to see that. Yes, so it's literally sucked over here. Um, so it got me conscious during that time. Yeah, but it has. So the treatment, and also I went because I'm presenting different symptoms and we can't control it anymore. I also had rounds of oral chemotherapy and the IV chemotherapy as well for a few sessions. So that's what it is. It's not cancer, but people with autoimmune diseases may go through chemotherapy to be able to suppress or to make the lupus like sleep. Yes, but it's a fragile life that we live right now because there are triggers. I mean, I still can't figure out how to live my life right now because I still can't control my lupus flares. My triggers are very different. It can be, stress, it can be tiredness. Sunlight is one main trigger for me. So imagine not just, being out in the sun, the heat as well, the cold as well. Anything is like literally a trigger for us. I mean, yes. And chronic fatigue is one that I'm trying to deal with a lot right now. I mean, for people who know the spoon theory, so it's like you're only allotted like 20 spoons per day and you have to figure out how to use that. Let's say, for example, taking a bath is equivalent to 5 spoons, so you only have 15 spoons left for the day. Wash dishes, it takes out 10. Going to the bathroom gives you 3, takes 3, and then you're left with nothing. You can't do anything anymore for the day. And sometimes when I try to like do a general cleaning for my stuff, I wouldn't finish it. I would get tired halfway, and then it's gonna take me like a week to recover from that tiredness. I can't do anything physical anymore. I can't do anything stressful anymore because I know you have to know your body. You have to know your limitations. And for someone that's very, active, has an active lifestyle before and has lots of ambitions, has lots of visions to accomplish, that's something that I'm really dealing with right now that I can't do anymore. I'm still trying to figure out how to, because I can't even complete my job. I mean, I can't even go to my job Mondays to Fridays. Monday I would be fine. At the end of the day, I'm tired. Tuesday I'll be dragging myself to work. I would have fever already. And you feel like you've been hit by a truck, ran over by multiple cars, and your body's all sore. On Wednesday, I can't come in anymore, and it takes me Thursday and Friday to recover. And the weekends, I take that time to recharge, and then back again on Monday, and it's the same cycle. It's like, I don't know. It's a different life for me now. So I want to raise awareness for people. If it might help, if you have some of these symptoms, if you are going through some of the symptoms that I mentioned, please have yourself checked out. Consider this, because if you treat it as early as you can, if you catch it as early, you can treat it earlier before it affects your internal organs. I have friends who have their kidneys, their heart affected, their brain, their nervous system. It's hard. It's really hard. And yes, and also raise awareness for people to understand what we are going through, because I know a lot of people, and I even experience it myself until now, that people don't really believe that I'm sick. They're just telling me you're acting it out, you're trying to pity yourself, you're trying to do this so that you can get things, you can rest, or anything like that. This disease is real, guys. And, I would not wish for anyone to have this happen on them, because it's not a joke. It's hard living like this. It takes away your life, really. And it takes away the life of other people as well, because you're not the same person that they used to love, they used to be with. I can't even hang around with my friends anymore. I can't talk to people. I can't talk to people for like very long. I mean, my conversations would just like be 5 to 10 minutes, and then after that, I feel so exhausted. I feel so drained. It has impact on you, not just physically, emotionally. It's a lot. And also, I want to raise awareness for this so that we can get more, you know, research is coming in, foundation that's going to help us try to find a cure, because living with lupus is hard. It's hard. A lot of people are suffering from this invisible disease. Most of us, you know, most of us don't show this. We get discriminated because of that. It's not a life that anyone wants to live. Yes. But I'm okay right now, guys. I'm not really that okay. I still have symptoms every now and then. I still get rushed to the ER every now and then. I still get admitted every now and then. I would have flares, episodes every now and then. But at least now I know how to control it. I know how to limit myself, even if I don't want to. And I know some ways to help me recuperate or have myself recover on my own. And of course, I do not forget to take my medications. It's literally a life-saving drug. Without it, I don't know. Lupus is going to be there. The monster is going to rise again. So yes, I'm doing well right now, guys. It's a journey. And I salute all the lupus warriors out there. You are such incredible human beings, brave warriors out there. And, let's just continue to try and hope, pray that one day a miracle is going to come and a cure is going to be here for us. So thank you guys if you've reached up until this end. Share your stories, and for those lupus warriors all over the world, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to make friends who have lupus, although it's sad to know that a lot more people are being diagnosed and suffer from this disease. But it helps to build a community, to build a group, a network that knows how to support you, because it's only us who really truly understands what we are going through. It helps, when someone understands what you're going through, you recover even better. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much, and let me know if you want me to cover anything very specific about lupus. I'm more than happy to share part of my journey. I know this isn't the complete one, but I've really talked about a lot. And yeah, that's it. I think I have everything covered. Thank you guys. Until next vlog, have a great day and stay safe and stay healthy. And as promised, guys, before I finally end this video, I am sharing to you some of the pictures that I still have left of that period when I was diagnosed with lupus. So these are the physical symptoms that I have. That's entirely just a small part of what lupus is about, because we have symptoms that cannot be seen and can only be felt. Like when I was seriously doing this video, my memory was super bad. I kept on forgetting what I was saying. I was such in a confused state. So please forgive me if I might have said anything wrong, or that's made you even more confused about this disease. But yes, just please reach out to me if you need more information from me, or if you just want to talk about what lupus is. So thank you guys. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and until next video, have a great day. Bye.